All right, in today's lesson, our objective is to be writing and graphing equations of circles. This is our last conic to put on that piece of paper there that we have. So here is a circle on the right. This is on that foldable or that piece of paper, whichever one you printed out. We have our circle here. We have our radius. We have our points going around the radius. So the center of the circle here is going to be the same as usual, h comma k. The radius is the r. And this is the standard form for a circle equation right over here. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So if you notice, we don't have anything divided like the other two for ellipses and hyperbolas. Squared terms have the same coefficients. So this is the most important thing when we are looking at things for completing the square to figure out what kind of conic. If your x squared and your y squared have the same coefficient in front, that tells you that it is a circle. So let's just practice just general ones. Here's the first one here. Write an equation of a circle with the center of -4, 3, and the radius is 4. So we know this is our h, this is our k, this is our r. So in our equation there, if you take a look, I'm going to do it as x minus a -4, so that becomes x plus 4 squared, and then y minus 3 squared to equal r squared, and my r is 4, so 4 squared is 16. So here's the equation for that circle. Okay, graph this following equation. So if I ask you to graph something, which is pretty simple here, let's get the center of this first. So what is the center of this circle here? So we have it as x plus 1, so that must have been a -1. Here we have y minus 3, so that means it was a 3. What is the radius here? Well, it was squared to get 25, so the opposite of that, of square root of 25, is 5. So if I was to graph it, I'm going to try my best here. We have it at -1, 3. Here's my center. And then going off this center, you're going to be going 5 for the radius. So you're going to be counting 5 boxes along each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say it's about here. Going 5 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then also to the other side. And then you would, which is not going to look like it because I don't have graph paper, it should look like a circle there. All right, last question is about completing the square. So let's just take a look at this question here. Remember, our first step for completing the square was to have my x squares and y squares on the left, right? And then any numbers on the right. So this one here, we have a +4 that has to move over. So let's organize this. So we're going to have it as x squared minus 6x. And now we have it as plus y squared minus 2y equals, and that 4 is going to go over to the right. It's going to become a -4 when we move it over. Now, this is definitely a circle because take a look at my coefficients. My x squared is 1, my y squared is 1, so it's not going to be an ellipse or hyperbola. It's not going to be a parabola because a parabola has to have only one of them squared, right? So we know this is definitely a circle. So our step 2 is to make sure that it is 1x squared and 1y squared, so I don't have to factor. Now we're going to do our completing the square. Step 3, we're going to complete the square now. We're going to take our b, divide it in half, and square it. So let's take a look at the x squared minus 6x. Our b was 6. Divide that in half and square it. So 3 squared is 9. So that means I'm going to be adding 9 over here. And then for the other one, my b is -2. Divide that in half and square it. So -1 squared is 1. So let's add that. Y squared minus 2y plus, and then I'm going to have my 1 to equal -4 plus, don't forget we need to add that 9 and that 1 to balance the equation. So we have it as x squared minus, let's redo that. So we have it as x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 2y plus 1 to equal, let's add those numbers up there. What do we get? We get it to be 6. Okay, now we're going to do step 4, which is to factor. So let's factor both of these trinomials because they're perfect squares now. X minus 3, which becomes x minus 3 squared. Oops. And then this one here is y minus 1, which becomes y minus 1 squared to equal 6. So here is my equation for this circle here.